The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Tiger Technician Hour with your host, Basil Chapman. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Now, Basil Chapman.
Good morning, everyone. Basil Chapman here. This is the 16th, Tuesday, the 16th of August. Look how long a narrow rectangle formation can last. From about noon yesterday, let's go to the low right there at about 12:10. The low is 4287.75 in the September E-mini. At 4 o'clock, it had a sudden strike and it went to a high of 4304.75, and then it pulled back. Well, from the pullback, let's take that at about 440. That was at 42.97. That 42.97 high was trapped between 42.47 and 42.88. I think it was around about 42.87. Yeah. 10-point range, and basically it went into that range and it stayed there all the way to this very moment. It is still stuck in that range. Even the bar, this 10 o'clock bar, has gone from a high of 42.94.25 to a low of 42.84.25. Isn't that amazing? So I said I just popped into the den earlier in the morning, about, what was it, about 8-ish? Something like that. And I said the range is that the resistance at 42.98 to 43.03, 43.04, that's going to be a strong resistance. And key support is if this 200-period moving average, now it's at 42.82, it was at 42.81. If that gets pierced at 42.77, this morning becomes a really important support to hold. And here we are. Can you believe it? After such a fabulous 5-session move, the S&P and the general market is still basically in a range. And look at the cycle. Look at this beautiful cup formation. Look at that beautiful cycle. I drew it at the top. I can draw it in again. Let's make another one. This time we'll make it a different color. Let's make it gray or blue or something like that. There it is. Okay, different color. And we've got the same cycle. Says that you went into a cup formation, and it is using the same number of bars to kind of get to the top of the range. What happens next is going to be very important. I love these cycles. I love the fact that markets create a certain pattern, and within that pattern, you've got to also consider that it is a fractal of human emotion. In other words, at this particular point, there's a big question in the chart is saying that the market is interpreting what's going on right now as a big question mark. Can it go higher? Can it go lower? In the meantime, we're just going to sit still and see who's going to make the first move. That's basically it. All right. Now, what's very important, at least for me and my subscribers to my opening call, I said about a month or so ago, maybe it was 6 weeks, I said that within the context of what we're looking at in this particular phase, anything that I'm looking at that looks good, we're going to get aggressively long. And we're going to be very selective. We could raise quite a lot of cash. We still have quite a lot of cash. But we're essentially looking at putting money to work aggressively. Therefore, we chose to use leveraged ETFs. And at the same time, over the last week, I've said, we're going to start looking for stocks that have not just underperformed, that have been absolutely decimated, knocked down 80, 90%, but are within the context of what economically should start to work very soon. Now, we've got those positions. They're not doing very much. In fact, they're both down a little bit. Or one is, let me just check that out before I talk. Yeah, they're both down a little bit and haven't worked. And I almost said today was the last day. In fact, I did say, well, it was the last day, but what I should have done is I should have raised the stop and taken a little bit off on one of them just to say, look, it hasn't worked. When we time things, we usually time it to the point where it either works immediately and is very successful, or it just stalls and we just say, and we might be in the situation right now. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is that if you look at certain sectors that were really beaten down and then start to move to the upside, we don't have this, but let me just off the top of my head, let me just say a DocuSign. I signed yesterday. I had something yesterday and it turned out using DocuSign. And I thought, I haven't looked at DocuSign for a couple of days here. So DocuSign was once upon a time in the 314 area in August of 2021. So by my reckoning, if it was August of 2021 and we're in August of 2022, I'd put that at about a year. And within that year, it's gone down to the 55 level. Well, 314 to 55, I would say, is it hurts. But DocuSign is a very good business, from what I understand. I mean, I'm not doing any of the real fundamentals here. I'm just doing something just on what I've read and perceived and been told. And at the same time, look at that. I mean, obviously, that was very much a COVID play. But within that context, so many areas, that is within the housing sector, just anything that is documented, are using electronic signing. Well, there must be a lot of competition, because otherwise this would have been back really strong. But it's not a bad company, and it's doing okay, I think, on the chart, going from the 55 level to 73. It's a good percentage, but not when you look at it from 314, let me get the exact number, down to 55.96 on the 16th of June. Here we are, August 16th, that's 2 months later. So it's just not a great rally in terms of the pattern. It's a great rally in terms of percentages from 55 to 73, up in the 70s the past 2 weeks. So I'm saying this is the moment that you've got to start seeing some of these stocks really take on some buying pressure, not selling pressure, but buying pressure, because it's their moment at this particular point to show some life. Well, if you look at the weekly chart, this is really not participating. And that just says to me that if the way I'm looking at it at this particular point, if this sector, the really beaten down sector that is very much part of the economy, doesn't start to really see some buying that not just elevates the price, but actually starts to take it to new recovery highs every week for the next couple of weeks, that's a big problem. I'm not ruling this out as something that I have to focus on intently. In the zone says Dow floating with 34,000 may begin to sputter. Yeah. So this is my opinion. We are long. We'd love for it to keep going high. Who doesn't want your long positions to keep going high? So in this context, I just wanted to give you an overall feeling of the rotational aspect that needs to kick in really soon, because you can't just have some leadership here, very selective leadership, moving the markets high when you aren't getting that chip. I'll be back in a moment. Basil Chapman, Dow up 87 at 34,000. Very good.
Vista Gold owns and operates the largest undeveloped gold project in Australia, the Mount Todd Gold Project. Vista Gold just completed their feasibility study, resulting in a 7 million ounce gold reserve. Vista Gold has all major permits approved and has retained CIBC capital market assistance in evaluating alternatives and in completing an accretive transaction. Vista Gold trades on the NYSE American and TSX under the ticker symbol VGZ. Vista Gold, executing a strategy to create shareholder value.
Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the market's open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Folks, we're back. So I can't even remember if I did all the indices. Let me just finish this up. Let me just say. So the Dow has hit 34,018. And this is lovely action. I want to see it get into the 34,000s and hold, and that'll say wonderful, because now you really have turned, you have a visual support level that's maybe 1,000 points lower, and that's really very good. That's not the issue. The issue is, look, the weekly chart had left side, right side price time match to the high that was made at about 34,117 the week of the 6th of May. Now what we're looking at is, having tumbled down to 29,653, you are now in that area, and it had maybe 1 week to go, maybe 2 weeks to go to get there with the left side, right side price time match, not to the low of the week of the 17th of June, but to the 2 weeks later, to that peak right there, that first peak A. So far, this is very good. And this is the first time that, the last week and a half, I've been saying this is the first time that I'm looking at prices moving above the Chapman Wave inside track repellent zone to turn that into a propellant zone. And now I can start to say, with 2 weeks to go, finally the monthly chart is bumping into resistance in that long-term channel or in falling axe formation. And that's a good sign. But of course, I have to wait until August is completed before I can even discuss that as a closing price. So that's nice. I like that. S&P right now is also nicely above the 4190 200 period exponential moving average, F/B alternate count, and we're also looking at the 42. Did I say 80? I forgot to type that in. I think it was 90. Wasn't it 91? 4291. Let me just get that again. I forgot to retype that. Yeah, 42. No, it was 4301.79. 4301.79. High of yesterday. And here we are, a little tiny doji candle down 8 at 42.88 in the S&P, lagging a little bit. The 9 is way above the 14, the price is way above the 9. It's way, all of us is above the 200 period moving average. The MACD is good, stochastic very strong, 96%. On balance volume has been lagging. That is really something. That might be summer doldrums. I don't know. QQQ just real quickly down 2.3 at 330.72. That was very good action yesterday, pushing a little bit above the 200 period moving average. This is the fourth session above it. Let's see how that can hold all the way through the week. But it's really important because this weekly chart, for the very first time, don't forget, the QQQ Invesco Trust Series, that's the NDX 100 trading vehicle, went from the 408 level to 269. I would call that somewhat of a pullback, right? That's almost halfway between the 164 low of March of 2020 to the 408 high. Let me just do that quickly. Yeah, there you are. So that, in essence, says this is a really important moment because in the monthly chart, in the weekly chart, we've just barely stuck out of that down channel. In the monthly chart, we're attacking it right now. And the pink 9-period moving average under the 14 is narrowing. It's trying to rally. This is such an important moment all around. This particular, last week going into the first 3 days of this week, are just so important because here we are. Finally, the Dow has tested the 34,000 level, and we're going to see, does that become a fulcrum for maybe a pop to the 180 level? That's 34,180, and then maybe pull back to the 33,850 and just wiggle around there and have a sideways consolidation? Or are we looking at, over the next 2 weeks, a serious top? Well, if I'm looking at Home Depot up. It's just up, it's only up 3%, up 9.60 at 324. I mean, is that not just absolutely, it's quite amazing, actually, because the Home Depot, with the everything that's gone on in real estate here, you would expect that there's some diminution in the activity at Home Depot, maybe not so much price, but the number of people. And yet, look at that's the number of transactions. And here we are in leg B in the monthly chart. This is just the turnaround that I've seen in areas like Home Depot, like XLF. Look, XLF, a little bit off yesterday's high, just a fraction off yesterday's high, made a peak D. We're right on the 200 period exponential moving average. It has been so important for me overall in the big market picture. And one of the reasons why we kept wanting to go long and try to hold long as much as possible, all these different key areas, like the Dow, from even before the low, we've been trying to buy it, and we've been buying it since. And the same thing with the QQQ and the SMHs, is because there has been a very subtle but important infrastructure, for me, this is the way I'm looking at it, move towards areas in the general market that I need to see to confirm a major rally. So here you are with the XLF and the weekly chart, just leg A, but barely above the inside track repellent zone. But it is important, same thing in the monthly chart, sitting at peak D. It was at a low in the 30 area, and now it's trading at 35. It's not a big deal percentage-wise, but it is a big deal chart-wise, because if you put it together with IAI, which is the this is the iShares broker dealer and security EF. So there were a bunch of areas that I was talking about going into the low in June that I needed to see on any very strong rally in the general market. I wanted to see the financials participate. I wanted to see the brokerage be along a financial. We want to see the brokerage area. We've been along the IAI from 2020. And we needed to see areas like Home Depot. Look at this. I haven't actually looked at this for a little while now. Did I forget to do this on Saturday when I did my overview? I think I might have. Let's go there right now. And this is the triple yield chart. This is my triple. I'll get to General Motors. Good question. I want to talk about it. The reason why I wanted to go through all this, the other areas first, is because General Motors will fit exactly into the area that I'm talking about, and you'll see how it fits in a moment. So hold tight. I like General Motors. I don't like the music and the ads for Cadillac, but I'm just thrilled that they're finally pushing the Cadillac, especially for young people. I guess that's why they got the music that an older fogey like me is not that impressed with. In the meantime, and they did that once before with the Cadillac when they had the vertical taillights. I've been an aficionado of automobile design since I was about just a little toddler, and I remember seeing a Willys Jeep. This was back in South Africa, and it had that wood paneling on the side. And I thought, oh, I can't stand that. To this day, I still can't stand that wood paneling on the side. Well, I've always been interested. So that's a good sign. And here we are. Look, the yields are just stuck in the higher range, but they're not breaking out, they're not breaking down. But look at the wood iShares Global Timber and Forestry, a nice candle. And look, it's starting. I'll be back in a moment.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi folks, we're back and we're looking at the TYX. That is the 30-year yield. Nice spacing now between the 30, the 14 and the 5, except that the 5 is above the 10. The 5 is above the 10. But look, you did have a good green candle last week in wood, the iShares Global Timber and Forestry ETF. It's a good sign. You can see the propeller shaft from that spike. We did this in my webinar that I did last Wednesday. Oh, by the way, for subscribers, the archives have been up, and I hope you're enjoying them. So what we're looking at is, for those who attended my webinar, now what we're looking at is this propeller shaft says that the area at 81, is that 81? Yes, 81, you would expect at about 83, if it can even get there, there'll be a lot of resistance, and then it should pull back again. But look, it's nice to see that the Philadelphia Housing Index is actually running back to its baseline in its own big rectangle formation. That's a good sign, one that I wasn't expecting. Now, let's get out of this. A couple of questions I haven't finished. I will go to close workspace. Let's do that. So let me just finish up what I haven't finished, and that is just to quickly go through the different indices. So we're looking at the gold pulled back. And as I said before, gold is not acting badly. It's just not acting well. There's a big difference. And it means that it's stuck in a range. It's been stuck in a range. It's made the U-shaped pattern in the monthly chart that is onto its second U because it's such a deep U on the right side. It says, it's going to take a little while before it can really build some kind of momentum to get over 1950. And right now it's at 1792. Chapman wave inverted. Falling axe formation makes that support level serious resistance going up to between 1832 and 1851. A break into the 1860s at any time over the next 2 weeks would be a good sign. And meantime, it's just consolidating after that peak D. And it's the GDX question came up, and GDX is holding okay. It's at 26.52. I should mention just a disclosure that for subscribers to my opening call, we are long the GDX, a little below this. So it's holding okay. It's at a peak C. Gold is at a peak D. I just think that gold is holding okay. That's all I'm looking at right now. And it could stay in this range for a while. I don't see a reason to break under the 24.38 low of the 23rd of July. And if you look at silver, that's a little different. It was acting so well, and now it's pulled back, so it's at a high level of consolidation after a peak F. Look how strong the 14-period exponential moving average resistance, once it broke down back in April in the 24 area, that was it. And then it tumbled down to 18, just about 18, and now it's trading at 20.65. Up against, this week it's bumped up against the 14-period moving average, and now it's below the pink 9-period moving average. It needs a lot more, and the monthly chart doesn't look all that good. The daily chart actually is in some ways even a nicer chart than the gold chart, but now it's in that consolidation. I just wanted to high-grade copper because we were looking at the wood, the iShares Global Timber and Forestry ETF. I always put them together because it's international. This is the copper continuous contract at 3.62. It's holding well. It's not great, but it's great if you look at the 3.1 low that was made back in the mid-July and then popped to 3.70, and now it's at 362. That's good. If you look at the weekly, it made more than a one-to-one extension to the downside. Now it's testing the pink 9-period moving average. You want to see copper together with the iShares Global Timber Forestry ETF pushing higher, and you want to see copper at the end of August, the beginning of September, above 377. Let's call it 378 on the continuous contract. If it can do that, that says, you know what, it's turned a corner here, and the rally can start to extend from short term to intermediate term. But if it closes below 340 at any point, that is not good action. So let's go on, and now I finish it up. TLT, the TLT sitting on key support at 114.84. And even more important than just sitting at key support, it's got a peak E and it's pulling back. And it says in the weekly chart that yields, the TLT is still struggling. And it says to me that there's a greater chance that the yields, unless the TLT can rally back to 118.50 in the next week and off, sometime in August, if it can get back over 118.50, it says, all right, yields are back into that range. Otherwise, yields are the bias is slightly towards the upside. So that's what I'm looking at. What am I missing? Crude oil. Crude oil, I've been talking about this 200-period moving average support. Remember, I spent so much time in the webinar going through some of these aspects that are just there. They just sit there. If I'm here looking at the crude oil going to 120 and then 121 back in June of 2022, could I even care about the 200-period moving average? No. It's just sitting there. It's doing nothing. Its job is to say, oh, you're getting close to me. Hello. Watch out. I could become a magnet. Well, not only did it say, watch out, back on around about the 12th of June, It popped up from that level just above the 200-period moving average, made the lowercase h, that went to a lowercase m, and boom, it did the H pattern, testing the right side low, the left side low. It broke it and started to hug the 200-period moving average. And that's the same to me that crude oil could very well be trough A, trough E/B. This could be F/C, and it could very well mean that crude oil has serious resistance in the 97 to 102 area. Only if it can get to 105 sometime in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, will it say, oh, I'm back in play. At this particular point, it's saying, you know, I'm struggling to hold what I've got. So that's it. Okay, now we can go. That was a long way of saying I'm going to go to General Motors. General Motors, GM is the symbol. General Motors trading right now down 62 cents to 38.78. Made it a leg E, probably a peak E right now. It did the left side, right side price time match. I was thinking of either General Motors or Ford going long back in the lows of July. And then I thought, you know, we've got others that I want to, but this would have, what a nice percentage. Maybe we got it in the 32s and it goes to 38. That's 6 points, 20%. That's not bad. But in the long term, look at this 200-period moving average. Once it touched it for the last time back in February at about 50, let's call it about maybe 52 or 53, that was it. It was gone. Did you need a 200-period moving average? No. Do you need it now? No, you don't need it at all. But if General Motors starts to trade at 40.80, 41.35 on a closing basis, all of a sudden that 200-period moving average of 42.40 kicks in and says, hey, I'm now going to become a magnet. Why am I mentioning that? Because in the long-term picture says to me, the expenses that General Motors has, even though they have the electric side of it that's starting to come on very nicely. And I'm going to spend more and more time talking about the grid, since I've experienced grids before, and I know that when grids get extreme action, because it's either too hot or it's too cold or whatever it is, and you've got to use more and more electricity, that turns out eventually to turn into some kind of a scheduled turn down from whatever it is. What are you going to do when some states are declaring that in such and such a year they want to almost ban anything but electric vehicles? Yeah, it's all very well. It's a wonderful thing. But until we can leapfrog the idea of batteries and the sustainability of power for batteries, I think the mix is exactly what you want. And then slowly you evolve and the marketplace takes care of more and more people buying electric vehicles. But this is, I'm looking at the General Motors chart. It's not a great chart. Short term looks very good. So I'll be back to your numbers.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
We're back and we're looking at, I just want to show you this chart. Rectangle formation can last a lot longer than your patience since before 3 o'clock yesterday. The E-mini had been in a trading band, and now we've broken the downside. We did take out the 200-period moving average of 42.82, and then I'd said, if that's taken out, watch out for 42.77 is absolutely key support this morning, and we've still got a little way to go. Now, let's go back to this. So within the context of General Motors, on a short-term basis, if you're looking to add to a position or if you already have it, I'm saying that so many of my charts are at a point in the Chapman wave notation that there should be a sideways move. It can go higher, but I think at this point, I'm also expecting that towards the end of the week, we could see some pullbacks that start to take out the most recent lows, and that for them, the 200-period moving average will become a very strong support. So that said to me, for subscribers, I didn't really want anything new today. We've got our positions. I had said one of them is actually up 50% since we got in that particular part of the position. We've been taking little bits off, just tads off to money management. I don't really know if I want to put anything to work right now, but we did put two stocks in that for subscribers that there's a risk to it because they haven't really moved, and that's just the way it is. And if they haven't moved by today to the upside, I might just say, all right, we're done with those. But in the meantime, I'm putting General Motors in the category of stocks that have rallied on a percentage basis from 30% to 38 or 39. That's a fabulous percentage. But I'm just saying that I don't think I would be adding to General Motors if you were looking at adding or just the chart formation. I want to see how 38.10 to 37.10 support is tested over the next week and a half. Maybe it just pulls back a little bit and then it goes to 40. But the daily and the weekly charts are suggesting some kind of consolidation here. But the improvement in the weekly chart is very important because it's the first time since way back in, say, January-ish, that it was trading above the 9 and 14 period moving averages of the weekly chart. And this is the first time that there's an opportunity for the pink 9-period moving average to turn green above the 14, and that'll be a good sign. So as a start, a compromised position, General Motors, a compromise meaning that it is not in, on a weekly basis, it's nice, it's a nice rally, but in a monthly basis, this is the pullback from the 60s down to the 30s, cut more than half. It's just not a great chart at all. So this is very important. This is an effort to start to build momentum to the upside. So that makes the 37 to 36 area over the next 3 weeks is absolutely imperative to hold. If there is a move this week on Friday on a closing basis, if the weekly chart, I would prefer that it close over 38. But if at any point it trades the week is above 40.73, that's really going to help the weekly. And I wouldn't be surprised if then the Friday close sees agreed 9-period moving average above 14. So that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't add to it right now. And even if I did, I would treat it as more a trade than anything else. There's a lot going on in General Motors particularly. I like the pattern of Ford a lot better. And it's had a bigger rally, 10.61 to 1629, almost a 60%, 60% rally. That's fabulous. And the monthly chart is way better. And the weekly chart has, in fact, gone L. It's cross positive. So it's a better chart. You didn't ask me that. I'm just saying that. I'm also going to include Tesla right now. A number of people ask me, can you just do Tesla? Tesla made a new high today, 944, a round number high. Their E above the 940.82 peak D in a cup formation. What happens next is going to be really important for Tesla. And let me just show you what I'm looking at here. If I do a vertical test, that peak D right there at the beginning of August, and this in the middle of August, look, the MACD's okay, but it's not great. It's way below where it was at that high at 940.82. The stochastic was really good at in the 83% area or 85. Now it's at 73%. On balance volume is still good, and the 9 is still way above the 14. So all of this is there's a mixed picture. Price says that it made a new recovery high. My target for this period going to September is that if Tesla is able to trade at any point, it doesn't have to close. It just has to trade at any point in the 937 area. All of a sudden, the Chapman wave inside track repellent zone up at just above 1,000 starts to become a focus. But until then, I treat this as more a bounce. But in fact, if you look around, I don't know where you are, but I'm hearing from people all over the show, Tesla is everywhere. I mean, I see more and more Teslas. I've stopped counting them intraday. I say, oh, I've seen 7, I've seen 8. Now you see them all over the show. So it's a very popular car, acting very well. This is a decent bounce, but if you look at the monthly chart, the U-shaped pattern says it needs to get into the 970s or higher to really stay, hey, Tesla's going to its all-time high of 1243.49. But until then, this is a very nice counter-trend rally, nicely above the 200-period moving average. So the next question came in. I did that. Tesla margin 26 are way above the competitors. And Ford's margin is about 4%. But don't forget, you can't, these are not apples to apples. Tesla only has electric. They're not encumbered by the gasoline products. And there are a lot of things going on with Tesla. There's also the promise of the truck. I read a lot about the truck over the weekend. It's very difficult when you read these things to really decipher it, to say, oh, it's absolutely 100% true, because a lot of it is on speculation. You don't know whether the truck fully loaded is going to produce what it does. But someone said it's an 80%, even if it's an aberration, even a 60% benefit to diesel is a big benefit. But at the same time, if you've only got a maximum 500 miles distance, the cost to the drivers and everyone else, it's heavy. All right, so let's get out of this. A couple of questions that are really important. So test this, I'm going to zoom. Yeah, so you see Zoom would be in the same category as a DocuSign. And it's done that. It's trying to get off the low, but it's stuck in the sideways move. So Zoom Video Communications went to a peak D. Actually, went to the D right there, as you'll see. Didn't finish notating. There's your D. And now it hasn't got a sell signal or anything like that, but it's digesting these gains. So, yeah. So I think that what we're looking at is until you get into this whole aspect of, have they recovered? Are they starting to produce money? Are they really making money? On a consistent basis? Some of these stocks are just getting off lows, but they haven't really shown leadership. That's really what I'm talking about, leadership. Okay, needed to do that. I got that question out the way. Question about Ford. Yeah, Ford is a better chart pattern all the way around, and I think the way their product lineup is, it's just it's the chart actually seems to say, in a way, it's a little bit better than General Motors, and I think I prefer it right now as a chart pattern. I'll be back. The Dow is up 81 at 33,996, just testing me all the time with that 33,000 level. I'll be back. Basil Chapman, Tiger Technicians Hour.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Everyone, I had to look this up. A question came in. What about GSM? And GSM, I'm looking at Ferro. I couldn't read it from here because it's gray in TradeStation. I don't know why they don't make it white with the label or what it is. It's a Ferroglobe. Oh, Ferroglobe, that's what it is, PLC. A company largest merchant producer of silicon metal in the Western world, the leading global producer of silicon-based alloys and manganese-based alloys. It just sounds great. Anyway, it's gone from about $4.60 to today's high of $7.44, gapped up to a leg E. Yeah, I like this. I like everything about it. I don't understand it, of course, but I like the action. But that means that this little gap up, if it starts to fill the 720 area, today's low is 722. If it goes under 720 in the next 2-3 days, it says be careful, it's going to fill their gap somewhat. I do like it, and the person who asked is probably, you've probably got it, and you're just sitting with it, or you've got a plan that you're using options or whatever it is. That's very different to somebody who's just jumping in right now. If you're jumping in now, you could have a 10 or 15% loss just like that. But if you're looking at it as a stock, that had a spike high. He's always got this news. It looks like a biotech, has a spike high from the 4s up into the 9s, more than a double. And then it gives back in a stair-step manner, down, lower highs and lower lows. And now it's got a decent rally. I'd still, you know what, you could even put in a buy at $6.85, give it a 30%, stop. That's kind of the way I'd be looking at it as a longer-term position. Short-term, just let it digest these gains. But you could even, if you love the story, I would nibble right here, even at 744. If you're looking out, it should test the 830, 840 level over the next 3 weeks, as long as it can move above today's high of 769, close above today's high, even once, it says buying should come in. So folks, I'll be doing my show tomorrow, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It'll be recorded and replayed. Stay tuned. We've got Steve Rhodes coming up. Should be a great show, great programming. Yeah, I'll be back with Tom later this afternoon. Have a wonderful day. Check out my opening call, David. Peace. Thanks.